So, all right, you guys, welcome to tonight's team call. It is Monday, July 18th, and this is our post summit call. We are going to be talking all things summit, some things that are changing, some things to expect. And you're going to hear a little bit from each of us. Kate cannot be on the call. She had to make a quick adjustment as far as getting Eve back home today. So she shared what her takeaways were from summit, and I will share those with all of you as well. Okay. And then Dawn, Jess, and Mindy will all be sharing. Hopefully Kylie hops on if she can. If she can, then she'll share. If not, then I'm sure she can type it in the chat or something like that to give some input as well. Okay. I understand that the evening calls aren't always super convenient, but I do appreciate you all being here, and we'll get this party started. So first I have a couple of announcements. Okay. So I want you to, we've already talked about a couple of these, but I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and everybody is aware of what is coming. So the first announcement is Team Cup is happening in August. And I did put a link in the, I actually put a poll up, and then I accidentally deleted one of the options when I was trying to click on who voted on the poll. And it's kind of a silly option that you can even hit an X instead of just see who voted on it. But I did put a poll in there who's interested. I think we pretty much have a good idea. I did send a couple messages to some coaches who haven't responded yet, just to make sure we don't leave anybody out. But in the comments of that post or the poll that I put up in our Team Living Healthy and Fit Facebook group, there is a link that gives you some more information on Team Cup, okay, and what it looks like. Basically, you guys, if you don't know what Team Cup is, it's 5 coaches linking together on a team, even though we're all on a team. We make these small little teams and work really closely together one-on-one to help connect with new people and help them get started just like you got started on the programs, either as a client or as a coach. And then you earn Success Club points. Corporate then says, okay, well, if you reach this benchmark, you all earn this prize. If you reach this benchmark, you all earn this prize. So the more points you accumulate, 1, you're helping more people, but 2, you're earning free prizes and you're linking arms, and it's kind of like put your head down and hustle hard for 30 days to create some momentum within your business, right? And the other really cool thing that they announced at Summit is the top 100 teams. So the top 100 teams that have the most points are going to earn an entire year of Brendon Burchard's personal coaching. Yeah, I started looking at it, but our internet was not stellar while we were in St. Louis, so I didn't get to like the final number, but we're talking like thousands of dollars worth of coaching for free. Okay, so to hustle for 30 days, impact more lives, create some momentum and belief within your business, and earn that is going to be pretty freaking cool. Plus, you're earning little prizes from corporate too. Okay, so that's number 1. If you haven't talked with me yet or your personal upline, I know Kate is running a team, and I have a team together, and I'm also working to put a second team together so that way everybody on the team is covered. Okay, all right, so that's that. Lift More launches tomorrow. So excited for that. So for coaches and PCs, you will be able to purchase the VIP packages or just the digital access of Lift More. And the Facebook thread for that program, at least the one I'm going to be running, is going to start on, and it's my birthday. Ooh, ooh. So I'll be buying myself a birthday present tomorrow. So then my Facebook thread that I'm going to run for that group specifically is going to start on August 1st, because that's the day I'm starting the program. And then if, let's say, your friends or family don't want to enroll as a coach or a PC to have access to Lift More, but they want to do the program, they can then access the VIP access on 8/2. Okay, so those are important dates. 7/19 is the launch for PCs and coaches. We start the program on 8/1, and then it is also available for purchase to just customers on 8/2. Okay, the next thing that's happening, and it's happening this week, is Kate and I are going to be hosting a What is Coaching call, sharing about a bit about our vision and the vision that we are ever growing after this week. And that call is going to be happening on Thursday, the 21st. So that's this week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be this link and passcode. So invite your friends and family. You guys can go to my stories and see how I talked about it today. Just very in conversation, talking in my stories, how we're sharing on vision and how the last 2 years have been so hard. And even if you're not interested in coaching, because we know that coaching isn't necessarily for everyone, that if they need to just hear some good, uplifting, positive stories and be filled up and to remember that there is still some light in the world, that they're invited to the call too. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do, right? Is to spread more love and light. So you can go check that out to kind of see how you can put your spin on it and get in front of more people and share our mission and what we're doing, okay? So those are the announcements. Team Cup in August, Lift More is launching tomorrow when we start that on 8/1. And then the What is Coaching call is happening on Thursday, 7/21. Now, the next thing I want to talk about really quick are some new things that we are going to implement right away. Kate and I did some brainstorming while we were in our diamond track over the, when there was in between speakers, we did a little bit of brainstorming, we did a little bit of notes back and forth, like if something popped in our brain, just to kind of collaborate and see how we can best serve you guys and what's going to help all of us grow together. Because at the end of the day, what we've been doing has just been status quo, right? We've all just been kind of like at that same spot. So while we don't need to completely reinvent the wheel, we need to have a breath of fresh air. We need to change things up a little bit. We need to bring the energy back into the mission and what we're doing, okay? So one of the things that we talked about doing is for team calls, we're no longer going to do team trainings. There is a plethora of resources, you guys, between the Living Healthy and Fit Facebook group and all the archive calls that are in that, the Superstar Diamond calls that you all have access to through me, through Meg. You're learning from the top in the industry on every topic all the time. Every week there's a new topic. Your coach office, YouTube, following different coaches on social media. There is no lack of resources. What we have is a lack of action and implementation of what we're learning on those calls. Would you agree? We read it, we hear it, we listen to it, we go, oh yes, I'm going to do that. And that sits in the notebook and you close it and you put it away until next week's team call. So what we will be doing starting next week, each Monday we'll have a theme. So next week will be the last Monday of the month. What we will talk about, we will each take a few minutes to share what our vision is for the end of the year, from now until the end of the year, for our business and for our life, okay, what our goals are. We're going to talk about what we are proud of for the month so far. And then we're going to talk about what we're going to do better next month to continue to take action. Okay, so that would be the last call of every month. It's kind of an evaluation, right? Checking in with ourselves. Where are we at? Where should we be to really align with the goals that we're setting for ourselves? And how can we take one step forward? Okay, so that we keep progressing. And then the other Mondays of the week will have different themes. So like one will be, we'll talk a little bit about content and maybe have some inspiring quotes and some like hook starter sentences. And then we're going to all work together on creating content for that week. We're going to sit down, we're going to get some things on paper so that way a lot of our posts are ready to just copy and paste, maybe make a couple edits here and there. Okay, so one week we'll actually work on content. The next week, we'll work on invites together. If you guys need help with wording, you can ask, because we'll all be here together. What does that look like? If somebody asks you a question and you're hung up, we can work on that, okay? The next week, we might talk about what's working in social media right now, what's changing, what's new with reels, what's new with hashtags, and create some reels and call to actions in our stories together. So essentially, you're still showing up for a team call, but rather than just sitting here and listening to me or Kate talk every week, we're going to implement action to take some things off of your plate. Okay. And then if we have a bonus week, like obviously there's sometimes 5 weeks in the month, right? Then we'll do maybe like a mastermind call and collaborate what's working, what you have questions on, a little bit of belief, mindset, working through some struggles that you're maybe having. You guys, all of that is not totally ironed out. We're going to kind of see how it goes, and each week might change a little bit depending on what we see is needed most. Maybe 1 month, or like maybe next month in August, we'll do 2 weeks of invites, because we're all going to be pushing a bit harder next week or next month with Team Cup, right? So we'll make adjustments as we go, but I feel like this could be a game changer in us showing up for team calls, but also checking things off of our list and feel like we're taking action and progressing, right? Okay, so that's the first thing that we're going to do. The second thing we're going to start implementing again, which we did this briefly, but the second thing is we're going to start doing what is coaching events twice a month. So one will be a call like Kate and I are going to do on Thursday. And then one will be a Facebook group, whether it's a 1-day event or a 3-day event, some sort of Facebook group that you can just plug your customers and clients into, and they can, at their leisure, check out the content. Okay. Okay. So that's the second thing. The last thing, expectations now and moving forward. And you guys, I've always led from a more of a friendship heart, I guess, because my upline is non-existent, and I don't ever want you guys to feel like I'm making you uncomfortable, or I'm pushing you, or that I'm overwhelming you, or I always have kind of approached being a leader of this team as a friend. And while I'm still your friend, I'm also not doing you any service, not pushing you when you tell me that you want to work towards X, Y, and Z. So there are going to be some changes as far as if you're telling me that you want a certain goal, I'm going to help you rise that ambition a little bit, like Brendan Burchard talked about, and push you towards that ambition, rather than just say, okay, you didn't get it done again this week. There might be a little bit more tough love, and that's what we all know it as. But really, if we're being honest, tough love is just love. It's being honest, right? It's having the courage to be honest rather than skirt around maybe what needs to be said, so that way we can all level up and show up for our truest self. So one of the things that we're really going to be working towards is action and raising our ambition. And one of the ways I would love to do that is helping you guys rise above. Like, I feel like everybody goes, okay, I'm at Emerald, or I'm reaching for Emerald, which, yes, that's the first milestone, but then we all we plateau and we go into like management mode. And sometimes it happens when you hit diamond. You raise the bar and you get to diamond, and then you go like stagnant. You just go in the management mode and you're on the defense constantly. So we're really going to work on growing that belief in leadership with you guys. So if you are currently an Emerald coach, we are going to expect that you sign up to lead one event each month, whether that's you lead the team call and you come up with some of the content, or you help lead one of the water coaching events, whether it's the call or the group event, that you participate and be a leader in that group. If you want to do a live in our bod wellness group, I just ask that you get the topic for that, if you're not currently leading that group, that you collaborate with the leaders who are running that group on a topic and what's going to fit best with that clientele and kind of the vibe in there before you do that. But not only is that going to help you to get comfortable talking in front of the camera, it's going to help you to lean in and participate as a team member more. And it's helping to build your belief within being a leader, because Emerald's not the end game, you guys. Like that's the foundation of your business. Okay. So we're going to start pushing those expectations and raising that bar a bit higher to help you guys start spreading your wings a bit more. Okay. Okay. So with that said, I am going to, whoever wants to go first, I don't care. I just want you guys who were at Summit, so Dawn, Jess, and Mindy, share your 1 to 2 takeaways that you took away from Summit. We'll have a little bit of conversation about it and then move to the next. I will share Kate's and then I'll close things up. So Jess, you raised your hand, so go ahead. I'll mute myself.
All right. Well, the reason why I wanted to go first, Corey, is because one of my takeaway actually goes along with what you're going to be implementing with the team. Angie Belmar came up and spoke to us, and during her speech, she talked about looking at this Beachbody business as a business, devoting space to your business, making sure you have that time set aside to work your business. The focus is to show up. She said attend Coach Summit, which we're all talking about doing. Take your before photos, commit to sharing your journey. Make Success Club your measure of growth. You hit Success Club every month. That should be your goal. For me, that's what I want to start doing. That put fire under me. I have a desk downstairs that literally, I told Corey in the airport, has my binder of coaching trackers sitting on there, collecting dust with a computer that I should be using to run my business. That's my next thing. I'm going to make my office space. I'm going to, do, and you don't have to go as extravagant, but corkboard, some of the quotes that they gave us, I want to put up there a picture that put fire under my belly when I was in Summit, that is a constant reminder of what, I can do and what I should be doing. She also talked about team growth. When you have, a team under you, bi-weekly sneak peeks into coaching, the 3-day layout that we talked about. She did have a quote, or she did say us that one thing that's going to happen when you are posting, it's at first they will ask why you're doing it. Then they will ask how you did it. So that really stuck with me, especially with like sharing my journey, because my journey is different than, Corey's and Dawn's and all of your guys' journeys. So for me to get more comfortable in sharing my journey and, where I am at today from 4 years ago. So that was one of my takeaways with that. And then I had another one with Katie Moore. She came up and spoke. And one of the things that really stuck with me, because when I started coaching, I had fire in my belly to right when I signed up. Like I was like, bam, we're doing this, let's go. And then of course, people along the way have caused different things for me. So one of the quotes that she had said is, there will be people watching you and hoping that you fail, but there will also be someone out there praying you never quit. And that just, I got goosebumps right now again, just saying it again and listening to it over again in my head. That was me. That I walked out of that after she was done and I was like, man, she was talking to me, like seriously talking to me. Another thing that she put out there is people buy solutions, not products. So, not selling, but sharing, is the way I looked at that. Let's see, hang on. She really spoke to me. I'm trying to read my notes. Okay. So talked about providing value, consistency, and stuff like that. But again, her quote was really what stuck with me the most, and not giving up. And everybody's stories were phenomenal. Everybody had a story. But those are the two that stuck out in my head as far as connecting to people and just remembering that there's somebody out there always watching you. And honestly, it's really the person that you think isn't the one that's really watching you, the one that's really judging you. Those are the people that are really watching you and really want to join and do what you're doing. So that's all I got. I'm gonna mute me.
Will you really quick say that quote again, please?
Yes, I will, and give myself goosebumps again.
Okay. You gave me goosebumps and I was listening, so I wasn't taking notes.
Okay. The quote again is, there will be people watching you and hoping that you fail. But there will also be someone out there praying that you never quit.
Thank you.
Did she talk to everybody? Or was that just in our training? Mindy,
must have-
just us. Yeah. Okay. And she did talk about when you're building your brand, she did give us a book to read too as well. I don't know if I have it. Expert Secrets to Building a Mass Movement of People Who Listen. Is that right, Mindy? By Russell Brunson. And then Build Your Story Brand by Donald Bruner. Is that the correct title, Mindy? Yeah. Okay. Those are two books that she gave us to learn how to build our brand and just kind of find ourselves, that she used to help do that. So those are a couple, and I actually took a lot of books away. So I've got a list, like, I can't wait to get started. So
what was that first book you said?
Expert Secrets to Building a Mass Movement of People Who Listen by Russell Brunson.
When you get a second, can you type that one in the notes?
I sure will.
Or actually, if you don't mind, the couple books that you took away, will you just put them underneath the graphic for tonight's team call? That way, like if anybody had books and you want to share those, we'll just put them all under that post so that everything's in one place.
Yep, because Meg gave a couple too that I took away, and I think that was just in our training as well, right, Mindy? Meg?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, cool. Perfect.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks.
Jess. All right,
Yeah.
Dawn or Mindy, whoever wants to go next. Go ahead, Dawn.
Hi, everyone. So one of my big takeaways was from Julie Boris, and she really spoke on the 4 vital behaviors. Be proof that the product works. So press play every single day and be your own first best customer. They don't know about the coaching business. So connect, invite, and follow up. They don't know about it until you tell them about it. So talk about it. Always do an invitation post, or somewhere in your post, invite them. And it should be so simple as, you should just come and do this with me too. It doesn't have to be a big long post or this is what we're doing. And it's just, you should just come and do this with me too. Because you can say that to your friend. You can say that to anyone. You should just come do this with me too. And what really hit home for me is that results are not just physical. I don't have a big, huge physical transformation. I've always been the tall, skinny girl. And she's the same way. She didn't have a big transformation. She's very thin, and that's just how she is. But there's so many other results that happen with how you feel, how you sleep, how you interact with other people, how you grow as a person. So those are the things that you can also share, not just your before and afters of physical results. And she was really big on personal development, that you cannot grow your business without growing yourself. So do all 4. All 4 of the 4 vital behaviors are They're there. And when you do all four every single day, you will have results. So she was really awesome. I adore her. And then Brendan Bouchard was just amazing as the main speaker. And my takeaway from him is you don't have to wait for your destination. Oh, when I get here, then I'll do this. Or when I get here, then I will be in a better place. What if the destination is right now? What if your journey is here and now? So you're already there. Share where you are and then keep going. And then share where you are now and keep going. So those were my two big ones that made me feel like I can do it every day now. It's not as overwhelming as I have made it for the last 4 years. I don't have to be somewhere specific. I can just take where I'm at right now and do the 4 basic behaviors that they've been telling me for 4 years. And I can do it.
Yes, I love that. You can. You are, like, we all can, right? Like we talk about all the time, like what we do, like the actions themselves aren't hard. It's what we tell ourselves up there that it makes it hard, right? And I loved when he said that too, like, because even some of the other speakers talked about how you don't sign up for the marathon to cross the finish line. I mean, you do, but you really sign up to do the marathon to prove yourself that you can go the distance, that you can walk that journey, that you can go through that. And so it was really cool that he brought that the journey and destination can coexist, that it's not just about the journey on the way to the destination, and it's not just about getting to the finish line, that each day that you show up for yourself, you're there, but you're also growing forward. So I really loved that too.
Well, and where you're at today is a destination from a year ago.
Yeah.
So this is my destination.
Yeah.
Where I was at a year ago, I wanted to be right here where I'm at. So share
We
it.
have to remember
it.
that.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of gratitude too, is we have to remember to be grateful and appreciative of where we are, because the us a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago was dying to be here. But because we haven't reached that destination that we keep pushing away from us, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
But if we always come from the mindset that we're not good enough, we'll never find joy. I don't care if you're making 6 figures or 7 figures and you have a 15-star business. If you can't ever live in the moment and be appreciative of where you are and where you have come from, you will rob yourself constantly of the joy. So yes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to mute myself, and Mindy, it's all you, girl.
Yeah. Kylie does have hers too. I tried texting her. She's probably passed out because we got in very early this morning and she had to go to work. So I'll have her share them in the comments, but she does have them because we wrote them together on the train. So my 3 takeaways, 2 are more on the tactical side, like the daily just grind of the business. And then 1 is more of a purpose vision type takeaway. So the first one, and I didn't write, well, I have all my notes here, but I didn't write down on my notes for tonight's call who said what or where what came from. So if you're interested and want to know for sure, I'll look that up, but I don't have it in front of me. The first one was that social media is becoming a lot more niche. And I think this has been kind of a slow transition, but really I've noticed it in the last maybe 4 months or so that it is very becoming very nichey. So I know, like, and when I heard that, I thought about it and I'm like, yeah, when I think about who I follow on Instagram, I follow a particular person for a particular reason. Once they start to deviate from why I originally followed them, I will typically unfollow them. So even though we have multifacets to our personality and what we're doing, focusing in on that niche or that brand is what's drawing people in right now from a follower standpoint. So a couple of points underneath that just to remember, and when you're thinking about that, is you have to be you and only you. Whatever your niche is going to be. If you hear my crazy gremlin children in the background, I didn't have time to put them to sleep first, so just ignore them. So you can only be you. So if you're somebody who knows nothing about powerlifting, your niche probably shouldn't be powerlifting. But if you're somebody who's passionate about like meal prepping, like someone we know, that's probably going to be the niche that I will gravitate towards, because that's what I know. That's what I like and enjoy and read about and listen about and do on a daily basis. So think of it as something that you have an interest in already that's going to drive you, so that posting does not become a chore. It becomes oh my gosh, I just thought of this cool thing, or I just found this super neat article, or I have this thing I want to share, and you're excited to post those things. And what your basis for that is, you want to be providing value. Your market of people that are following you, you are serving them, whether they are a coach or a customer or a client of yours already or not. You're serving that person because, again, they're following you for a reason. So you want to make sure that you're providing value. I don't think it's a bad thing to have like fun or cutesy things here and there. I mean, a part of why I follow Kate is because she freaking cracks me up, and she's got gold in her content, on her post underneath, but I love her just reels and stuff. So you can go a little bit, crazy, but you have to think about what that is, and who you're serving, who your ideal client is that you want to touch or that you want to reach out to. And think about that when you're crafting those posts, or when you're putting together those reels, or whatever your content's going to look like. And then the third thing under finding your niche is you want to be educating and problem solving. So I think I can't remember if it was Jess or Dawn who said in one of their takeaways that we're providing solutions, not products. As you're putting your content out, be thinking about that. What is the problem that you're going to solve for somebody? Because you've got the solution. We've all got the solution. So what is it that we're trying to solve, and how can we educate those people? Because the more that we have people coming to us and coming to our page, they're looking for answers, they're looking for solutions, the more we're going to get to about what we're doing. How do you know all this information about what you're posting about? Where are you getting this from? And they're going to start asking questions. So that was my first one. Second one had to do with inviting. And I know this was in our track B session that we were in, but again, I don't remember who the person was. But what she had said was, when it comes to inviting, keep it short and sweet. So nobody wants to read a huge book. And this girl, it was Danny. She was cracking me up because she was saying things like, I don't care that you think my daughter's cute. If you're trying to sell me some vegan face cream, if I want your product, I'm going to buy it. You're not going to convince me by telling me that my kid's cute. So just keep it short and sweet. And along with that is, you invite like you want to be invited. Maybe you are the type of person that you want to have that more of a conversational side first and become friends first, but maybe you do want just lay it out there. This is what I have to offer. Are you interested or not? But you want to make sure that you sound genuine and you sound like you. So I would steer away from just copying and pasting somebody else's invite and sticking towards something that's going to sound like you, whether that's your terminology you use, your phrasing that you use, your verbiage that you use. It has to sound like you. And so her example that she gave of just a short and sweet was, hey, Steph, I wasn't sure if you saw, I have a new boot camp starting July 25th. Would it be okay to send you some info? And the points that she made specifically around this were, if you're going to invite to a boot camp or a challenge group or whatever it is that you're inviting to it, you better freaking be talking about it. So in your stories or in your posts, be talking about it, because otherwise you're going to say, hey, I didn't know if you saw, I was running this boot camp. And then they go and they look at your page and they're like, what boot camp? What is this person crazy? Like, what is she talking about? I don't see anything about a boot camp anywhere in her stuff. Is this like a predator, an online predator who's after me? Like, what is going on? So that was one. The other thing she mentioned about it was keep it time bound. So saying it's starting July 25th, so that somebody doesn't look at it and go, oh, well, let me think about that. And then the next thing you know, 3 weeks goes by. And if you haven't followed up, they've not responded either. And then one of the major points she made was to ask specifically, would it be okay to send you some info? Leave it short and sweet. Would it be okay? So that the person doesn't feel pressured. They're not going to ghost you because they feel like, oh, now there's this ultimatum that I have to say, yes, I'm interested. So not, are you interested in learning more? Because then that's going to, whether a person thinks it or not, is going to kind of put them on the defensive, like, oh shoot, am I interested? If I say yes, is this person going to hound me, or they, what's going to happen? So just by saying, would it be okay to send you some info? So I thought that was very key. And then to remember that depending on what the person's response is, it's okay if you get a no, and we've heard this before, but your personality is not necessarily for everyone, right? So the last thing I want is for somebody to feel pressured or obligated to say, yes, I want to come work with you. And then we go to start working together and they're immediately turned off by me, or I'm immediately turned off by them, because that is going to make it, that is going to make it very, very difficult to work with this person in the future, whether again, they're a customer or a coach that you're working with. Is if you're already personalities aren't meshing, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough relationship. So that one was the second one. Keep it short and sweet. The third one, again, is more purpose related. And this one, the main point was, I think this was in one of our main sessions that we were all in together, but the main point was to share what you're going through and grow through it. So what I took from that is each of us has our own story. We each have our own background. Everybody's got some stuff that they're dealing with, but what I'm going through might not be the same as what Dawn's dealing with, or what Mia's dealing with, or anybody else. So your story is what's going to differentiate you from everyone else that's out there. That's what's going to make you different from every coach who's out there, every other coach that they have the opportunity, or any person that they're following, or whatever else. Your story is what makes you unique and stand out. But the flip side of that is your story is also what's going to connect you to that person that you want to work with, that person who looks at you and says, oh my gosh, I see myself in her. And I am in the spot that she was in, that she's talking about. And I see where she's come from and where she's gone to. And if she can do it, I can do it. So you have to just be authentic and be real and vulnerable, even though it sucks to say like, oh yeah, my ex-husband's a drug addict and I'm now a single mom of 2 kids. That sucks to have to say that when I look at everybody out there and say, oh, here she's escorted by her husband. Here's this person with their husband. I'm like, I don't have a husband. I don't want a husband. But to look at other people and think that, oh yeah, that's what, that's all that's out there. It's not. So be vulnerable in sharing your story, because you're going to attract and you're going to find those people who are going to say, I get it. I know that feeling that you're describing. I understand that struggle that you're talking about. I hear what you're saying and I want to know more and I want to work with you. So the third part about that one too is sharing what you're going through is think about an area in your life that you need to improve on. For me, I have a major sugar addiction that I've had since I was a child. So that's something that I am going to focus on, incorporate it in my posts, especially because my niche is meal prepping and meal planning and just healthy eating and things like that. And share about that struggle, your daily struggle, what you're doing, how you're growing through it. And so people are seeing, okay, I'm going to start and I'm here at point A. I'm going to get to point B, but I'm at point A right now. And you've heard about some of the things in the past, that's some of the things that maybe have attracted you to me. Now I'm starting in the past again, and I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to have you right there along with me, and you're going to watch me or you're going to join me, one or the other. But you're either watching or you're joining me, and just share the struggles, share the crap, the ups, the downs, because there's good days and there's bad days, and just kind of grow through it. But people are going to see you then evolve. And again, I think to Kate, Kate has been so freaking honest with her story since day one, and you watch her transform in front of your eyes when you see her and you follow her, and people eat that up because they understand that struggle. They're seeing it. She's being vulnerable. She's doing those things. And she's growing right in front of our eyes. And that's what all of us need to be doing, because none of us, back to Dawn's point, none of us are at that final destination, because there is no final destination. It's the journey to get there. And that's the part that people are going to identify with and relate to and want to see and want to say one day, God, you know what? I'm watching her do it. I can do it. What she's doing isn't that hard. I can do it. So let me give her, send her a message or answer that message that's been sitting in my inbox for 3 months that I've been ignoring because I've been too scared, and I'm going to do it. So those were my 3. Social's becoming more niche. Keep your invite short and sweet, and share what you're going through and grow through it.
Love them. And I love that so far you guys have all picked different things. Like, that's so good. They all piggyback off of one another, but they're all different. Okay, cool. So let me get back to where I wrote it in my notes, because Kate sent me her since she is traveling to get Miss Eve. Oh, where did I put it? Okay, so her first takeaway was intentionality, being very intentional with your time and your action. So just to kind of elaborate a little bit, in many of the sessions, they talked about the hustle or the anti-hustle or the grind and unwind, and being intentional with your time. And you guys, network marketing used to teach so much hustle. And now there's that very much that anti-hustle vibe out there. But we don't want you to get it twisted that the anti-hustle means that you don't have to work. Because if you want this to be a business, you're going to have to work. There is going to have to be sacrifice. So that's where her and I both really liked the grind and unwind that Trina Gray spoke on, because you're going to have to grind. You're going to have to give up some things for periods of time, and not all seasons are going to look the same, but it's just learning to be intentional when you're working. So not scrolling reels, not scrolling social media and telling your family that you're working, or convincing yourself that you're working, that you're truly working the actions that are going to grow your business forward. And then intentionally unwinding, putting your phone down. You guys, I strongly encourage you, and it took me a long time to do it, but I have 0 notifications on my phone. I have to legitimately go into Facebook before I even know how many notifications there are. I have to go into Messenger and Instagram before I know how many notifications there are. I don't get alerts on my phone. I don't get alerts on my watch, and I don't see them when I turn my phone on. There's not that little number of like, oh, and then it makes you start like getting all weird, and you have to click on it because there's a number there. I turned all of them off, because when I go into them, I am working, and then I step out of them and I am intentional with whatever I'm doing outside of that work time. Okay. I strongly encourage you guys to do that. So she said that work versus saying you're working, but just being intentional with work time, having that dedicated space, like Jess was talking about, dedicated work hours, because there's one thing if this is a hobby for you and you just enjoy doing it and you want to help a couple people here and there, but more than half of you have shared that you want this to be a bigger mission. You have a bigger vision for what this is going to be for you. You want to have a greater impact than just 1 or 2 people a month. And if that is your vision, then it is going to take having that dedicated time and space and being intentional with your time. Okay. But then we also have to unplug and recharge, right? It's very easy to work this business all the time, but we have to learn to put it down, turn the notifications off, and be present when we're not working. Okay, so that was number 1. Number 2, it kind of piggybacks off of that, is mindset around the business. If you want this to be a business, you have to treat it like a business. You guys, there are not many things out there in life that you can invest $160 in it and it have the opportunity for you to have a 7-figure return. There just isn't. But you have to show up for it to look like that, right? Just doing it here and there isn't going to make it happen. And I'm not saying that you all have that high of a goal right now, but her point was the sooner you treat it like a business, the faster you're going to feel the return of a business and you're going to feel like you own a business. Okay. You're going to step into that leadership role, creating that workspace and having your desk and your planner, knowing what you're talking about throughout the month and not just shooting from the hip with content, knowing what groups are coming up, knowing what products corporate is launching so you can be talking about those things. Okay. Okay. So treating your business like a business and creating that routine and momentum. So I have a lot of them because like the whole weekend was just really, really good. Kate and I had the pleasure of having Brendan Burchard for a second time after we all had him in general sessions. And he had some really great points. I'm trying to find it in my notes because now I'm okay. So what he spoke on that really hit me is that leaders need to raise the bar of ambition. And he talked about how the last 2 years have been super stressful and trying on everyone, the division in our country, the being secluded and, you know, the quarantining and all the stress of COVID and what came along with that. And that we've been in this season of hard for 2 years. But we're on the other side of it now, and that we have to be that message for people that they can't stay stuck in that hard. They can't stay stuck in feeling sorry or dwelling on how hard the last 2 years were, that we have to start being that light to grow again, to step forward, to start living life with aliveness and growth and purpose again, to find those passions in our belly again, to really live life and not just be stuck, right? Not just be stuck in the everyday mundane actions. That we've gone through the coping, we've gone through the stress relief. Now we need to rise out of survival and create ambition and living. So we need to rise out of survival mode and create ambition and living. So that was something that I really took from him. And then Micah Folsom, she had an amazing presentation on elevating your impact and mastering the long game. But what I really want to share was how to master the long game, because you guys, it can be really easy to go all in on this business and burn yourself out. And then you take a step away and then you kind of lose that momentum and it can become harder to get back into it. Think about it like your health and fitness. Like if you killed yourself an hour or two every single day in workouts and then you needed to just like slow things down because that's not sustainable long term, it's harder to get back into it, right? But if we do doable actions that are sustainable long term over time, we're going to be further ahead in the long run. So she's talking about the long game, how to master the long game. Be prepared to innovate. Know that things are ever changing, whether it's social media or conversations or seasons of life, what our countries are going through, whatever that looks like. Be prepared to innovate and be creative and try different things. Always be a student. Always be willing to learn and grow. Invite progression. So your invites aren't going to look the same now as they did a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Kind of like Mindy was talking about, use your own words, make it sound like you and like you're talking to your girlfriend, or like Dawn said at the end of a call to action post, you should do this with me. Like, talk to your people like you would your girlfriend at the coffee shop, right? Dig into the foundation of your energy. Keep your life and business goals aligned. If your goal is to be a present mom, you don't want to sacrifice all of your after school time or after work time working your business and taking that away from your children, right? You will burn yourself out and you will feel in a disarray because you are not aligned on both sides of your goals. Okay. And then this one is the one that hit me the most and is something I think is so important. Don't make certain seasons of life right or wrong. Rebuilding is a part of the process. Yes, because not every season is easy. Not every season is hard. We have to learn to be okay with that. We have to learn to adjust our sails with the season that we are currently in, because that is going to change. It could change weekly, it could change monthly. It's always changing, you guys. We all face different hardships, but it's knowing that one season is not right or wrong. It's just where you are in that moment, and adjusting your sails to that season and then readjusting when you move into the next. So that was my biggest takeaway from her talk. She really spoke, you guys, on being where you are, not thinking you have to master all of the things in one swoop, that this is like building blocks. You get to a certain point and then you add another action on, or a couple more things, and you master that level. And then you add a couple more things, and then you master that level. You are not going to be doing the things, if you're a brand new coach, that maybe Kate and I are doing, or the things that we're thinking about and collaborating on, because we're in chapter 20, right? To your chapter 1. So it's learning to be okay with where you are and just continue to build those blocks as you grow and learn. Okay. So the last thing I just wanted to close up with you guys is I'm really excited for all the things that we have learned. I will continue to share some things. And if anybody else would like to share on a topic that really hit them and maybe pop in live in the group, just shoot me a message and we can kind of connect and make that work. I am going to plan on doing that for the next couple of weeks, at least once a week, just to give more value and share with you guys what all we learned. Because obviously everything that we took in 2 full days is, this call was not nearly enough. So I'm super excited for everything that's coming, the changes that we are going to be implementing to create more growth and momentum and excitement around the team. I encourage you guys, take what you're learning. If you watch some of the summit virtual, or for the girls, those of you who are there live, like, take what you learned and start implementing what fits you, what speaks to you, what's going to work for you. Don't be afraid to fail forward and learn from it. Okay. The only way we're going to learn if it's a right fit for us and how we're running our business is if we try. Okay. So get excited about trying new things, stepping outside of your comfort zone a little bit and doing new things, maybe running your own groups, maybe inviting your friends to be in your own chat thread, whatever that looks like for you. Okay. Explore a little bit. I will just ask that if you have an idea for a current thread or a current group that's already going, just check in with the leaders who are already running that group, so that way we're all on the same page. Okay. All right, cool. I'm really excited. We got a lot, you guys. We have what, like 5.5 months, almost, yeah, like 5.5-ish months until the end of the year. We can make some huge strides in being a bigger light and making a greater impact and going to the big state of Texas next year reaching some really big freaking goals and walking that stage and representing our teams bigger than we did this year. Okay, if you girls could drop your books, your scripts that you took note of, anything like that that you want to share above and beyond in the in Team Living Healthy and Fit underneath tonight's post, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm going to get the recording up, and maybe I might still get it in there tonight. It might not go up till tomorrow morning at like 4 o'clock because I need to go to bed. But I love you all. I appreciate you all being on the call. I know it was longer tonight, so I hope you got some good value out of it. We appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon. Good night.